CMQ investors, I'm going a little old school here with this camera, but you know what? The audio is crispy. Did you guys see what happened with Tesla today? This was earlier this morning. I actually had a video ready for it, but my day got crazy. I learned a lot though, and I want to share it with you. Tesla's earnings were exceptional. And I don't know what people who are betting against Elon Musk are thinking. This guy he just doesn't lose, right? It's kind of nuts. So let's get into it. And I'm going to pull this up. I mean, Tesla's just like, they're crushing it. I mean, I think it sounds kind of corny. Everyone, hey, they're crushing it. But I mean, they really are. And I know I've said before, Tesla's going to have a lot of competition, and that's all true. But, maybe doesn't matter, right? Maybe it just seems like Elon Musk and his team, they're just like on a different level. I don't mean like they're superhuman. I'm not one of these people that's like, Elon's a superhero. He's a human being, but he's functioning at about, half a level above everybody else. And it's just apparent when you read through, their plans, how they've planned this out, how they think. It's really impressive. I have not spent a ton of time with Tesla, meaning, I'm aware of Tesla. It's a stock that I just felt like, well, I missed out on that. So I'm not going to, there's more for me to focus on, other companies rather. But digging in through the 10K today, looking at everything they're doing, just seeing how things went with their earnings, it's impressive. It really is. I mean, let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, maybe I'm becoming a fanboy, but let's pull up Tesla's earnings here. There's a couple of headlines I'll just share with you if you're unaware. It was big time. They broke every record. Now, I'm not trying to say that Tesla's an invincible company, and there's definitely things ahead of them, but let's just acknowledge what happened. So, these are not easy times economically. And I'll tell you, when there's inflation, when there's the fear of a looming recession, buying cars is not necessarily the most popular thing to do. But Tesla's in this really unique position as the leading brand for this enormous market and growing market for electric vehicles, EV. So their revenue this past quarter totaled $18.8 billion, which is up $10.4 billion from a year earlier. And their profit also exceeded investors' expectations. Last year, Tesla was the fastest growing major car maker, and their sales doubled, nearly doubled year over year. Meanwhile, other brands, their whole industry rather, they have new factories near Austin now, along with Berlin. Tesla's main problem right now is one of the best problems you could probably ever have as a business, which is they don't have enough capacity to produce everything they need to meet all the demand. Something I found really interesting, though, on this call, Elon Musk was talking about lithium, which I have to admit I know very little about, except I did meet a Bitcoin miner a few months back who showed me a picture of what lithium mining looks like. It can't be that good for the environment, but let's not go down that path. If you see a picture of a lithium mine, it looks like they turned the earth into like a golf ball. Like if you ever open up a Titleist golf ball, that's what it looks like. It's almost like gory. Elon Musk on this call was like, can anyone else get in the lithium business, please? He said, if there's any entrepreneurs out there, if you'd like minting money, then the lithium business could be for you. That's literally what he said. I'm not direct quoting, but it's pretty close to a direct quote. Now, another thing I found interesting on the earnings call was that Elon Musk said there's something called Optimum. Was it Optimum or is it Optimus? I think Optimus. That he said eventually could be bigger than all of Tesla's automobile unit, meaning it could bring in more money. And I looked into this, and there's not a whole lot out there. I searched through past earning calls, the transcripts rather, and I found out that this is like a humanoid robot, right? That does manual labor. So, Boston Dynamics, I thought had this already, but I guess this is a little bit different in that it's a humanoid, so it looks human and it's got that, charming face that like, so interesting. He's just this guy. And I say this guy is Elon Musk. I've not been quick to jump on the bandwagon. I've been a fan from afar, but I haven't there's something about today. I was just reading through these earnings calls from today and the past ones, just really processing Tesla beyond it being just something I see all the time. I was like, what's this business up to? I didn't really know a lot. And it's pretty cool, right? I mean, I understand. I'm not saying the price is justified. I'm not saying go buy the stock. But if you own something like the VU or the VTI, you have exposure to Tesla. It's one of the top 10 positions. I think it's around 2-ish%. I can get those stats for you. But by the way, a good little life hack here for those of you who don't know, just type in whatever company you want to look into and just put investor relations at the end. Just Google that, and you can go right to their investor relations page where they have all sorts of marketing materials, as well as, there's a Q1 2022 shareholder deck that I'm downloading now that I'm going to read from here that tells us everything we would need to know to be an informed shareholder. So here's some of the highlights. Tesla had a free cash of 2.2 billion in Q1, while their debt is pretty much down to zero or getting close to that. And that's something I love about this company is they're very strong. I didn't realize that, by the way, but yeah, they are. Profitability, that was another record. It was another record month or record reporting. Excuse me. This was another record for Tesla. Their operating margin in Q1 of 2022 was 19.2%. By the way, speaking of lithium and this whole thing, Elon Musk made a reference to, you want to get in the lithium business. He said the margins are almost like, the software business. He says you won't be talking about, 19% operating margins. It's much greater. So another plug for any future lithium entrepreneurs. What else do we have here? So going down to the financial summary, revenues in Q1 2022 were 18.756 billion. That's year-over-year growth of 81%, by the way, which that's amazing when you consider the fact that the whole industry, has been getting hit. Like I said, free cash flow looking beautiful. On the revenue side, like I mentioned, it's up 81%. Now it's at 18.8 billion on the quarter. Here's what's driving it. And I always anytime I'm looking at a company, I want to know what are the 2 or 3 key drivers for revenue, and is that revenue dependable revenue? So here we go. Growth in vehicle deliveries makes sense. Increased average selling price, or ASP. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily saying they have pricing power or if these were pre-ordered vehicles that are now, finally delivering. But either way, that's an important thing to keep an eye on. Can you raise the average selling price? And finally, growth in other parts of the business. Tesla does make money and has other means to make money that are part of the overall business, so it's important to be aware of that. On the profitability side, contributing to that are also growth in vehicle deliveries, increased average selling price, or ASP, but also reduced costs per vehicle, and this is despite inflationary pressures, lower stock-based compensation expenses, which I assume that's primarily Elon Musk's compensation, because he's not getting, I don't even know if he's getting compensated right now. He already made so much money. And he said on the earnings call that he does not plan, there's no talks of a new long-term contract for him, by the way. Doesn't mean he's leaving, but he's not looking to cut into the profit margins. Increase in regulatory credit sales. It's always kind of a contentious issue. If you Google that, you'll see why. But there are some things working against profitability here, and that is the rising raw material, commodity, logistics, and expedite costs, as well as an increase in operating expenses. Look, we're going through crazy inflation right now. Everything's more expensive, not just at the places we shop or eat, but for businesses. Their suppliers are, charging more. Inflation's tough. It affects everybody. On the cash side, we talked about that, so I won't bore us or bog us down with that. Yeah, some really nice pictures in here, by the way. I mean, remember that these investor decks, I'm not saying the information is just marketing, but it's marketing materials, right? Like it's a very well designed. It's like it has a feel, but they have some nice charts showing the performance for a number of key metrics over a number of quarters. So I don't have any ability or special power to predict where Tesla goes. I mean, they are, a globally renowned, loved brand that's only getting more popular, that has an incredible organic tailwind as far as people just being aware of Tesla and interested in Tesla. And one of my favorite parts is they have this huge addressable market that they are really, I think, best suited to take advantage of. The EV space, if you close your eyes right now and say, if you close your eyes and imagine yourself on a highway in 10 years from now, do you imagine you'll see less electric vehicles than you do today? Or do you think you'll see more electric vehicles than you see today? I mean, I think the answer is obvious, right? Like, I would 100% expect to see more, because that's where the world's going. That's inevitable. We know this. There's just too many reasons why, people, meaning us, are shifting that and going that direction. Cut down on gas costs. It's better for the world. We all agree to this now. It's like, yeah, it's probably better that we're not, pumping fumes into the atmosphere if we don't have to. Not saying you can't drive your car and, you're a bad person or anything, but, I personally try to pollute as much as possible just to balance it out. That's a joke, by the way. If you're new here, I kid around. Wall Street loves being surprised. Tesla's earnings were a big surprise for Wall Street. It blew the expectations out of the water. People are pumped. I'm not saying you should rush and buy Tesla or any stock for that matter, but it's something we can all continue to learn from. I try to learn from the successes and the failures of different businesses and try to start seeing the pattern. So this leads to my next thing. I'm going to be starting a content series, or loosely a content series, where I'm going to call it and tentatively titled, 5 reasons why I love the stock. And it'll be like Tesla stock or Facebook stock, or no, not Facebook stock, Apple stock. And I want to go through and say, what is it about this business? What are 5 things about this business that, I think make it awesome? And I mean awesome, not just like, oh, it's so cool, but like why it's been successful. Why have shareholders been rewarded? And are those patterns or characteristics rather, or attributes, are they still present? And over time, the reason to do this, by the way, not just to make content, but if I learning from Warren Buffett, he's got a great pattern recognition. So does Charlie Munger. Phil Fisher was, he's deceased, but he spent a lot of time looking at businesses and thinking about what makes them work and grow and deliver results. And the more you do that, you do develop, not to say you can predict, oh, that's going to be, the next Tesla, but you're going to have a better chance of knowing, kind of what the needed ingredients are. And I think it's just interesting. Stocks, to me, not only is it fun to figure out how you can make your money make money, but it helps you understand, we're trying to understand the world around us better. Anytime I read a 10K, whether it's Tesla or some other random company, I learned something about the world around me that I didn't know. And that's really cool. So congratulations to Tesla. Check out the report. I'll put a link in the description of this. I hope you enjoyed this. For CMQ Investing, this is Chris Franco. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We'll talk soon.